Mark McDonald here from Desert Molding Concepts. Today I'm going to be installing a set of our new SSB2 suspension seat brackets on the XP 1000 seat. Our new SSB2s basically are a combination of our two previous designs, bringing together all the benefits of both designs into one tight, easy to install package. Not only will these SSBs work on the new 1000 seat, but it will work on all the other RZR seats, whether it be a 570, 800S, or the 900 XP. Of course, you're going to get everything you need in the kit to install the brackets, and you'll only need just a few simple tools: a 7/16 wrench, a 5/32 and an 1/8 inch Allen wrench, a small flathead screwdriver to seat the springs on their perches, and a T27 Torx bit to disassemble the seat. Now, of course, we've already disassembled the seat here, but basically you're going to be starting with the seat slider base, and you're going to be removing all the screws with the T27 Torx. Now, all those screws have spacers on them, so when you tighten the base, you can't over tighten it, and it will actually slide and then lock it in the position that you want it to be in. Once you've removed the base, you're going to be able to access through the holes in the frame the seat bottom screws. And using the same T27 Torx bit, you're going to remove all 4 screws. Then the seat bottom and the locking bracket will come off the frame. Once you've done that, you're ready to install the SSB onto the seat bottom. We'll go ahead and start the installation on that bracket. Alright, well, we've got the seat bottom here, and basically the first step is to install studs into the mounting locations of the seat bottom. Now we supply 1/4 studs with an 1/8 inch Allen head end for easy installation. Of course, on all your screws you're going to want to use just a little bit of Loctite. The blue style is fine, the thread locker. We're going to go ahead and install these. Okay, now that we've got all the studs started, we want to set the height of the studs on all 4s. The front 2 are going to be 3/8 of an inch. The right hand rear will be 3/8, and this stud on the left rear is going to be 1/2 inch high because we're going to have an extra stack of the tie bar being installed, so we need a little more height on that stud. So we'll go ahead and set that one first. Just either take a tape measure or, a ruler, whatever the case may be, and we want to set this at 1/2 inch. Alright, and then again the rest of the 3 are going to be at 3/8 of an inch. Alright, well, now we've got all the studs set. Again, the 2 front at 3/8, right hand corner at 3/8, and the left hand corner at a little more at 1/2 inch to accommodate the tie bar. So the next step is to install the suspension seat brackets themselves, and we're going to go ahead, and the limiting strap is towards the back, and we're just going to slip that over the stud. And then we're going to go ahead and install the flange nut over the stud. Now you can see as we tighten it up here, I'm not sure that you can, but we don't want the stud really sticking past the top of the flange nut. So if you start to tighten it up and it's a little high, you just loosen the nut back up and set the stud a little deeper, and you'll be fine as long as it doesn't go past flush of the nut. We're going to take the 7/16 wrench and starting to tighten this down. And we're going to square it up with the frame. Now you can use the small bladed screwdriver to keep that square as you get that lock nut nice and tight. Go ahead and do the other side here. On this side, because it's the 1/2 inch taller, we're going to want to go ahead and install the tie bar over the stud. and then install the nut on top. We'll tighten this down. Of course, as you tighten it down, again, you want it to keep square here, and you want the tie bar to be square to where it will mount directly to the top of the other suspension seat bracket. So we'll go ahead and tighten this one up, keeping it square. Alright, looking good there. Then the next step, of course, is the front spacers. And the front spacers basically thread onto the studs. And you're going to just thread those down as tight as you can onto the studs. Alright, basically the bracket is on the seat bottom now, and we're ready to reassemble the seat. Alright, well, we've got the seat base and the frame back up here, and it's time to reinstall it. So we're going to work on the two front mounts first that hold the spacers in place, and we're going to be installing the button head screw with the washer on it. Little trick we learned a while back was just to use a little piece of masking tape over the end of the Allen wrench, and then go ahead and stuff it into the head, and that'll kind of hold it a little tighter, so when you're putting it in there it won't fall off quite as easily. We'll go ahead and put this in the hole, put the bracket up on there. That'll kind of help hold it in place. Then we're going to bring the seat base up, and we're going to align that spacer, and we're going to get it started. Okay, now we'll take the other button head screw, and we'll go ahead and get this other one started. Alright, so we'll go ahead and just keep that a little loose for now so we can get everything through the back mount. Now the side without the tie bar, we're going to be using one of the button head screws and washers. And we'll go ahead and get one of the flange nuts started on there. Alright, now on the side that has the tie bar stacked on top, we're going to go ahead and use the stock screw with two washers, and this will give it the right distance so the head of the screw doesn't stick through the top of the flange nut, and will tighten down properly. So we're going to go ahead and take the Torx bit here. Use the same trick with the little bit of tape on the end of it. Shove that on there. And we're going to go ahead and get that in there. And we'll get the flange nut started. Alright. Now that we've got everything started, we can go ahead and tighten up the front spacers first. Alright, now the front spacers are tight. We're going to go ahead and finish off, square up the brackets, and tighten the rear brackets. So using the 7/16 wrench, and on this side, of course, the Torx bit. Okay, and we've got that fairly snug now. We want to make sure that the bracket's centered over the frame, and then give it its final tighten. Alright, go ahead and finish the other side. Alright, well now we've got everything tightened there. We're going to want to go ahead and install the main spring. Now, of course, this is a 3-spring setup per side, and there's several different adjustments you can make for rider weight and ride on the SSB. You'll always want to run a spring on the center mounting point, which is the center load of the bracket, and then you can use a combination of any springs to get the ride height or the ride that you want. Now for this particular ride, it's going to be set up for me. I'm about 200 pounds, and for testing I found that 2 hard springs, one at the main mount and one at the back, seems to give a very nice ride. Of course, I can reduce that and make it even softer by running some of my softer springs. But for this setup, I'm going to go ahead and just install the one over the main and over the rear. So I'm basically going to go ahead and pop this spring off of here. And I'm going to go ahead and move it over the main perch. I'm going to go ahead and seat it. Alright, so that's the setup I'm going to use. Again, you can use a full complement for heavy riders. You can use a combination of soft and light. It doesn't really matter, all the way down to a single spring for a super light load. As long as you're running one spring over the center line mount of the suspension seat bracket, you'll be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer that other spring, and then I'm going to pop the plate on and show you how the suspension seat bracket works. Now it's time to go ahead and put the sliding seat base back on. Alright, well, we've got all the seat base back on and seats ready to test out and show you how it works. Well, you can see we've got the suspension seat bracket all installed with just two reds out back. This is good for about a 200-pound rider. And we'll just give you an idea how it works here. You sit in the seat and you'll see that it'll set just slightly. But then as you start to counter terrain, you now have true suspension travel of the bottom of the seat, making for a much more comfortable ride and taking a lot of those effects out from when you bottom out or G out in your RZR. So anyway, that's our new style. We think it works really, really well, and it'll help a lot of people with their lower back pain. If you're interested, you can give us a call at 760-955-1409 or check us out at desertmoldingconceptsinc.com. Thank you. Have a good day.